Hey there, beautiful soul. Welcome. I'm Warren. So grateful to be able to share with you, and I send you unconditional love. We're going to explore the meaning of life. Let's break this down. Let's take a look at it. Does the meaning of life sit in the 6 denominations of Christianity, or the 45,000 offshoots of Christianity? Does it sit in Hinduism, in the 4 areas of Hinduism? Or does the meaning of life sit in Islam? And they also have 4 areas, 4 branch-offs of Islam. Or does it sit in Buddhism? Buddhism has 4 denominations, areas of Buddhism. And so does it sit in any of that? Or does the meaning of life sit with Buddha? Or does it sit with Jesus? Or perhaps it sits with Muhammad? Or what about Krishna or Lao Tzu? Do they have the meaning of life? I know I found the meaning of life, and it sits in, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's Monty Python, The Meaning of Life. Or does the meaning of life sit in each moment that you have? Is it every situation? Or is it when you look at your loved one and you're just overwhelmed with love, compassion, kindness for them? Or does the meaning of life sit in your struggles? Or is it from the point of an animal or a tree? We know trees are alive. Or plants. You know, if you go and you really look into this, and I encourage you to do that, you'll see that the meaning of life is what you give it. One thing is for certain, is that 90% or more of the planet believe that there is something after this life. It's only a very small minority of atheists who don't believe that anything happens. What we can't agree with is that there is what comes afterwards, right? And that sits in different religions, depending on what you look at it, determines or has their say in each of these on this topic. If you go further along your journey, I recall quite clearly that at some point, as I'm going through my path, I'm like, there's no meaning to this. Like, what is the meaning to this? And I contemplated that for a while, that this seemed pointless. This whole thing seemed pointless. I got a little further and I realized that it's neither meaningful or meaningless. It's neither has a point and it's neither pointless. It depends on what you as an individual. You see, you're a unique aspect of creation. And if you look at it like this, if you take your body as an example, and let's say you take your finger, and you've labeled this, your finger, and let's say this finger had a brain, but that brain only operated from my own brain, my thinking, and I sent a signal to this finger's brain, and this finger then acted. But this finger thought that it was the one that was doing within the experience. You see, you're part of existence, right? Hence why you're here. If you weren't part of existence, you wouldn't be here. So this finger, although it acts or believes it acts autonomously, in fact, it's doing what I'm doing. And I don't separate this finger out. This finger is part of my body, right? Just as you are part of creation. Just as you would say that the birds and the bees and the trees and the flowers and the rose bushes are all part of creation. Same as your finger is part of your body. You are part of creation. You being a unique aspect of creation. If you look at it at a fundamental level, right? All consciousness, which you're part of, consciousness, has broken itself into endless possibilities, and it experiences itself through trees, through plants, through humans, through you, through me. I can never know your experience, and you can never know mine. So whatever meaning you apply to life is based on your interpretation of it. It is how you feel about the situation or what's going on in your life at any one time. At a conscious level, there is no one here that is suffering. There's no one here that is poor. There's no one here that is rich. At this baseline, at this game of life, we've come here as a finite being, as an infinite being, as consciousness. And we've come into this experience and we've drank from the well of forgetfulness. And we've come into this experience to have a dualistic finite experience. So we can experience what it is to feel poor, what it is to feel like being rich, like having pain and going through trauma and achieving and planning and strategizing and all the things that we do at a human level. At that level, there is no meaning, and it's neither meaningless or meaningful. It's what we give it as our own interpretation on it. Everything I say, I want you to go verify for yourself. Go and contemplate this, look into it, and then come up with your own conclusions. You know, all the great mystics, you look at Buddha, you look at Lao Tzu, you look at Krishna, Maharaj, you look at Osho, you look at all these enlightened beings, Rumi, that have come and found a state of consciousness, which is Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness, right? There's a state of consciousness that they've reached that's available for everybody. That's your birthright, right? And they've written about it and they've provided pointers on how to reach the state of consciousness that you can live in. And they all point to the fact that you are God. You are the supreme being. You are consciousness. You are awareness. Whatever terminology you want to use, you are infinite in nature. You are boundless, timeless. So, and these are individuals, masters, that have come at different times. It's not they all congregated together and came up with this. This is them speaking from their experience. This is them speaking from that state of consciousness that they've reached, that they're saying is your birthright. It's available for you to reach. And they all say the same thing, so they can't all be wrong, right? And so I encourage you to look into it. Look into it in your life and provide meaning to your life. And if you have choice on what that meaning looks like, then it's for you to decide how you want to live your life and whether you want to attain to self-realize, right? Because if you really think about it, everything in this existence is on an ascension path. Science calls it evolution, but everything is ascending. And if I was consciousness, I am consciousness, right? Me being consciousness, I've thought about it. And one of the reasons I left Christianity is it didn't make sense to me to sit in eternity, even if I reached heaven, right? Never mind hell, because I could very well end up going to hell. But heaven and hell sit in your mind. But that's another conversation. And I'll talk about why I left Christianity. But I thought about it. At some point in eternity, sitting next to God with all the billion different souls, if I can even get close. But I would sit there and at some point, would I not get bored? Would I not say, hey, I'm a little bored. I would like to experience this again. Can I go have a second shot at it, right? And so that's one of the reasons I left Christianity. But if I'm consciousness, absolutely, I would want to experience, even at this kind of subjective human level, I want to experience what it feels like to be a tree and a bee and a bear and a lion and different types of being rich and, having the challenges, etc. That's what I would like to experience, particularly if I'm an eternal being. And I go on forever and ever and ever. And I am infinite in nature. I know everything there is to know about everything there is to know. And you just have to contemplate this stuff yourself and really just dig into it, look at it. And you'll at some point come to the same conclusions I did. That I am awareness. I'm here as a unique aspect of awareness to experience whatever I'm experiencing from my unique point of view. And I'm neither against or for what transpires in my life. So I encourage you to contemplate it. See, don't take anybody's word for it. Don't take my word or anybody else's word. They can be pointers. They can be pointers. They can take you to the door of awareness. But it's ultimately you who needs to walk through it. And it's you who applies meaning to that. And it's you, whether you see it as there being no point or whether it has a point. That's you. I send you unconditional love. Please subscribe and share if you enjoyed this video. Help me build this community of seekers. Let's help each other as we walk ourselves home.